after a few problems with the my initial attempts at trying to record, it looks like we've finally figured things out. So I'm currently 2-0 in a daily with Zoo. I was planning on recording the first 2 rounds, but was having some problems with the recording software. First it crashed my machine, and then I deleted some recordings accidentally. But anyways, just gonna kind of go over this deck really quickly, and then we're playing in, we're gonna finish rounds 3 and 4 of this daily, and play a premiere. And this is round 1 of the premiere that just started right here. So, yeah, this deck is kind of just something that I just decided to put all the 1-drops that I could think of, into the deck. Like, I couldn't be bothered to go look up an actual Zoo list, and I didn't want to buy any cards like Noble Hierarchs that I didn't have to, so I just went with what I had, and it's been doing well so far. So I just put in the Powerhouse 1-drops as 4-ofs, and since Zoo is fairly straightforward, I don't think variations between lists are going to be that meaningful, and I kind of like this all-in plan. It kills very quickly, and it has ways to interact, specifically cards are all pretty good interaction spells, just to back up the really solid beatdown, or the fast beatdown rather. So these Powerhouse 1-drop is weird and probably shouldn't be played, and that I should play Steplinks instead. And I think Steplinks is fine, but the problem with that is, the thing that I don't like about that is, I like to have hands that are 1 or 2 lands, and then just kind of stop there. And in those hands, Steplinks isn't very good. And also, Experiment 1 is good for the same reasons it was good in that old green-red deck with Goblin Guides and Gore Clan Rampagers. I'm kind of trying to be that deck with a 1-mana 3/3 Wild Nacatl. So Experiment 1 can regularly become a 3/3, or sometimes even a 4/4 if Tarmogoyf is if you go Experiment 1 into Goblin Guide, Loam Lion, Tarmogoyf, it's a 4/4. So we'll get to playing this game in just a sec. This hand is it's fine if we don't draw another land for a while, and it's very excellent. Probably can't lose if we draw any other land in the next 1 or 2 turns, so I'm gonna keep it. And we're on the draw, so we get an extra shot at that. Anyways, so yeah, these 2-drops are Tarmogoyf and Gore Clan Rampager. Should be fairly obvious, needs no explanation. This is basically a 2-drop. Boros Charm is something I wasn't running initially, but someone recommended it to me, and it sounds good in theory. 4 damage to the face is good, and it plays really well too. It's surprising kind of how many times that its protection from Wrath ability is relevant. I was just playing against Engineered Explosive in the last round, for example, and he has an Engineered Explosives on 1, which kills basically every single one of my creatures. And I was able to just Boros Charm for the win there. Lightning Helix could be main as well, because 3 damage is not so different from 4, and it also kills creatures that you could be worried about. But for the most part, I'm going to leave it in the sideboard for now. It's going to come in against other creature decks, like Affinity, or the Mirror, or Merfolk, and Boros Charm will be coming out when it comes in. Kataki is for, Affinity. It's really narrow. As far as I can think, or to just have it in there than not have it in there. In fact, it was supposed to be 4, but ended up having to have someone else register the deck for me in the daily, and they only got 3 in there. Pillar of Flame should also probably be 4. Well, I don't have a filled out sideboard, but I only own 2, and it's not that big of a deal. It'll come in against decks that are running Kitchen Finks, Pod, for example, or just an abundance of dorky dudes. I could see it coming in against Affinity. But for the most part, any deck where Pillar of Flame would come in, I feel like I should have a good matchup against, so it's not worth it to me to just take the minute or whatever to buy them. yeah, so that's basically the deck, and then I will get the rounds in a separate video. Let's see if I can end. The floating toolbar disappeared. Shoot. That is annoying. Alright, well, no reason I can't just play this. I guess I'll figure that out later. So this will all just be one video, I guess. For future recordings, I'll try to break it up. I actually don't know how I'm gonna figure this out, because I seem to have lost this toolbar, and I can't stop the video. But anyways, we'll play this, and hopefully I'll figure it out in a sec. So we did draw the land, which makes this hand significantly better. We're against Tron. Haven't played against this yet, but it seems like it should be decent. Wormcoil is a potential big problem. And if they can get out an early Wormcoil, like if this guy's playing main deck Wormcoil, I'm probably a dog in the matchup. Turn 3 Karn is less concerning. I don't care about a turn 3 Karn as much as most decks do, like Malirapod, for example. But if he has Wormcoil, we can deal with that via Path to Exile too. So on the whole, this matchup seems like it should be decent. We'll see what happens though. Decent, but not great. About even. Maybe I'm a little favored. Alright, so one thing I've noticed when playing this deck, especially with my mana base, is I've got to be really careful with the fetches and the shocks so that I don't ever fail to find. I've made that mistake like 3 times so far, and it's something that's just a result of pure laziness. So it looks like we're going to need a Plains for Wild Nicatl and Misty Rainforest that can grab a Temple Garden if we need it to. So I think I'm just going to play Scalding Tarn for a oh, shoot. See there, I think I messed it up. No, I didn't. So I'm going to grab a Sacred Foundry, then get a Curdape and a Wild Nicatl, play those. That'll evolve the Experiment 1, 2, 3, 3, and then we'll attack with it. Oh, and he's mono blue, or the blue version of Tron, so I'm not sure how that affects my read on the matchup. Their deck is there's like a lot more things that they could be playing, so yeah, I guess we'll just see what happens. I was thinking that the Curdape doesn't evolve Experiment 1, 2, 3, 3, but I probably should have played but that's obviously false. I probably should have played the Nicatl first, because this could easily just get condescended. Alright, well it doesn't, so I guess we got lucky. He could just have some sort of wrath too. Like Engineer Explosives would be probably game over. I don't know, Tarmogoyf can get there. So this hand is different from our previous hand. It's also one land, but the difference with this hand is if we draw a second land, it's not as excellent as the other hand was. And if we don't draw another land, we're like completely screwed. So I'm going to mulligan. This is a little better. We can get a Temple Garden and a Stomping Ground. Can't quite F6 because I potentially need to regenerate that guy. Alright, so we could bolt him, get an instant in the yard, which would make Tarmogoyf a 3/4, and then evolve Experiment 1 to a 4/4, and attack for 9, 12, that'd put him to 5. Or we could just attack, play Tarmogoyf, and kind of save the bolt. I think I like that a little better. This also gives me an out to, like, well, actually, no, that's a lie. It doesn't give me an out to Platinum Angel. I don't know. I think I just like it a little better playing Experiment 1, Tarmogoyf. Okay, so we're gonna get Temple Garden. Next turn we'll play Tarmogoyf and see what happens. It might have been a thing to get a Sacred Foundry with an Arid Mesa, but I'm not sure I like that as much, because I like, yeah, alright, so this is actually a new plan. Well, let's see, because, like, the thing is, this was his worst play for us, because it means, like, we want to bolt it, but I was thinking about that, and I don't think we have to bolt it this turn. I think we can just play Tarmogoyf and then play, like, Nicatl, and then, like, have these spells available. Generally, in this deck, we want to play our, like, creatures first, interaction second. It might actually be a thing to just play Nicatl and not take 2 from a land. Yeah, I think I like that. Just no. We can do that next turn. So this is Stomping Ground, and then Tarmogoyf. We'll attack with 1 line. And then we can bolt the Overseer next turn. It'll mean he has a 2/2 Scourge. We can like bolt the Scourge too if, like, that becomes a problem. We are certainly in no shortage of options. It'll probably depend on what he does next. An easy way to win with Sue is to, like, out-tempo them. So if we can get him to spend a turn on, like, playing a Cranial Plating and then equipping it with equipping Vault Scourge with it and then, like, bolting it, and that's going to be really good. This is a problem. That was pretty good for him. Holy cow. Alright, well, probably can't win. 1, 2. Yeah, there's no reasonable way I can win this game. And in that case, bolting this Seer wouldn't have mattered. Like, a 2-in basically as good as a 3/3. So I think I'll just port in my whole sideboard. Boros Charm is, well, maybe not Pillar of Flame. Path to Exile is probably better than Pillar of Flame just because it can get their man lands. One of these creatures is not great. And I'm not sure of what to do. I like to just shave things sometimes, and I think that's a good strategy for formats like Modern, where they're like pretty dynamic. It probably doesn't matter too much. Like, it's worse to sideboard out 4 of a card and have that be wrong than to just, like, take out 4, mediocre cards. You can't really be that wrong. With standard right now, it's obviously different than what we're playing, but I think it's necessary to have an actual plan. So don't apply that to standard. This hand is fine, but it has like no interaction and 4 lands, so I'm not a huge fan. I like this one a lot better. So I think the plan is 2, 4. So yeah, we're gonna play Marsh Flats for Sacred Foundry, play the Loam Lion, and then next turn we can Arid Mesa for Temple Garden, which will boost the Loam Lion and play Goblin Guide without taking 2 life. Alright, Spells Guide. It's shouldn't be too big of a problem. Although it is a little annoying. Alright, Tarmogoyf is a 4/5, so we get to evolve. Thing. I'm gonna play the Catacombs just in case he like has Condescend or something. And bash with everything. This is probably a repeal, yeah. Alright, I think he's still dead though. Yeah. Okay, so my initial assumption is that this matchup is significantly better than the Green-Red Tron matchup, just because they're less able to like race you. It's harder for them to get down a really quick Worm Coil, so it's going to be naturally harder for them to race. Next turn is probably going to consist of Gore Clanning to kill his Spellskite. And we'll just do the main deck against Mono Blue Tron. See if that doesn't give us access to, oh sweet, we found it. Alright, we found the toolbar for the video recording software. So I'm going to end it here and then try to record them in separate rounds.